The scent of fresh coffee and sizzling bacon lingered in the warm ambience of the Route 78 diner, a peaceful stop for both locals and travelers in a quiet village, O'Frail, Georgia. Low chatter and the occasional ding of the kitchen bell added to the usual calm, until something subtle yet strange began to disturb the air inside. Near the window, in a corner booth, sat Malik Johnson, a 16-year-old black teenager dressed in a faded gray hoodie and plain jeans. He appeared like any other boy, trying to enjoy a quiet afternoon, but what no one there knew was that Malik carried a past far beyond the ordinary. Though modest in height, with a relaxed expression, Malik had once been part of the Army Cadet program, years of intense training that shaped his mind and body in combat, discipline, leadership, and deep empathy. A small silver badge pinned on his sweatshirt pocket was the only silent sign of the dedication and resilience within him. He had spent much of his young life guiding kids in his neighborhood, steering them away from the destructive paths many others tragically followed. As Malik casually sipped his soda, picking at a basic plate of fries, the soft ring of the D suddenly echoed, followed by a heavy silence. 5 broad-shouldered men walked in, their boots clunking against the wood floor. Each wore leather jackets covered in patches of the iron claws, a gang known for instilling terror and sprinting chows wherever they passed. Leading them was a tall man with a noticeable scar cutting across his face. His icy, bold stare roamed like a predator in search of prey. The presence of the gang immediately drew every eye. Some customers kept their heads down. Others rushed through their food. Even Ruby, a kind middle-aged waitress with over to decades at the diner, looked visibly shaken. Malik, however, stayed composed, watching their reflection in the window pane. "Well, look at this little farmhouse," said the gang leader, Travis Cole, his voice thick with mockery and disrespect, making the atmosphere tense. "Think we might have a bit of fun here, boys?" The others snickered. One of them, a man with Ascol tattoo along his neck, deliberately looked over a nearby customer's coffee. "Oops," he said sarcastically, showing no effort to hide his aggression. "You might need a refill." The tension in the room grew tight. Ruby Trudeau stayed calm as she came over to take their order. Though her trembling hands gave her away, the men ignored her completely, instead focusing in a young mom with 2 small children at the next table. One of the kids started crying as the leader stepped closer. "Hey, it's okay, little guy, don't cry," Travis said with a twisted grin. "Mommy's here to protect you, right?" His crew chuckled behind him. Finally, Malik looked up. He couldn't just sit by, not because he wanted to be a hero, but because if no one stepped in, things could spiral out of control fast. "Leave them alone," Malik said, his tone steady but unshaken. The entire diner froze. All heads turned toward the quiet Kaiden, the corner booth. Travis burst into laughter, as if Malik's words were nothing but a joke. "And who are you to tell me what to do? Huh, kid," he taunted, striding toward Malik. "Some kind of hero?" Malik didn't flinch. He calmly set his sedai on the table and stood up slowly, every movement controlled, calculated. "I'm just suggesting. You think twice, Bear, you mess with the wrong people," Malik replied, a faint smile on his lips. Though his eyes locked onto Travis with focus, the gang members began to circle him, forming a half-ring. The man with the skull tattoo lunged first, grabbing at Malik's arm, but Malik moved with swift precision, sidestepping and spinning as he delivered a solid strike, dropping the man instantly. The loud thud filled the diner, leaving every onlooker frozen in shock. "I don't think you understood me," Malik said, now shifting into a defensive stance. As Travis and 2 others moved in, Malik shifted into position. The fight that followed was sharp and intense, relying on his agility and training. Malik slipped past punches, blocked assaults, and struck back with incredible accuracy. One man tried to grab him from behind, but Malik twisted, drove an elbow into the man's gut, then brought him down with a swift kick. Another tried to scare him with a sloppy punch. Malik dodged easily and answered with a clean shot to the ribs, leaving the man gasping for air. The entire restaurant was stunned. Ruby clutched her tray tightly. The customers were frozen in disbelief. Even Travis, the gang's leader, started to waver. Malik had control of the situation, but he stayed sharp. Knowing it wasn't over yet, he faced Travis head-on. "Still think you want to go through with this?" Malik asked, his breath steady despite the fight. Travis paused, his face flushed with rage and shame. But before he could speak, sirens in the distance cut through the tension. Police were on the way. With a frustrated growl, Travis pointed at Malik. "This isn't finished, kid. We'll be back to teach you a lesson. Only if you're dumb enough to try again." Malik replied, cool and confident. The gang hurried out, leaving the diner behind. Applause erupted from the customers, relieved and impressed, but Malik just returned to his seat, picked up his glass of soda, and calmly finished it as though nothing had happened. After the gang left, the diner slowly got back to normal, but the memory of what had happened lingered in the air. Customers approached Malik with thanks and praise. Ruby brought over a piece of pie and set it on the table. "That's on the house, kid. You saved us today," she said with an honest smile. Malik nodded in gratitude, but he didn't seem to want praise. Helping others was simply part of who he was. He quietly finished his pie and walked out, head held high, unaware that Sumiana had caught the entire event on camera. The next morning, Malik woke up to a flood of messages and alerts. Still drowsy, he checked his phone, finding hundreds of missed calls and notifications. The video of his fight with the gang had gone viral online, thousands of views, and countless shares. People had started calling him the diner hero in the comments, admiring not only his bravery, but also his quiet humility. "We need more people like him," read one top comment, flooded with likes. The sudden spotlight caught Malik off guard, but he realized it was a chance to turn the attention into something meaningful. That same day, Malik went to the community center where he volunteered, mentoring young people through sports, academics, and life skills. When he arrived, the staff and kids greeted him with applause. "You're an inspiration to all of us, Malik," said Mr. Henderson, the center's director. "This video showed the world what kind of leader you are." Malik smiled, a little shy, but his expression soon turned serious. He knew the Iron Claws gang still posed a real threat, and now was the time to use this memento make real change. With support from the center and local residents, Malik began a campaign to raise awareness against violence and intimidation. He used his rising popularity to shine light on causes that mattered: mentorship programs for at-risk youth, education, support, and positive outlets. Donations began flowing into the community center, moved by Malik's story. Meanwhile, somewhere in an abandoned garage, Travis Cole watched the viral video, his face twisted in anger. But behind the frustration was something more complicated. He couldn't ignore Malik's strength or his purpose, and something deep inside Travis stirred. He remembered how years ago he had once dreamed of becoming someone better, before gang life pulled him in. A week later, Travis arrived at the community center. He was alone, no gang jacket, no attitude, just a man with shame and resolve on his face. Malik saw him, and immediately stayed on guard. "I didn't come to fight," Travis said, hands raised. "I just want to talk." Malik led him to a quiet spot away from others. Travis began slowly, but once he started, the words spilled out. He shared how he joined the gang, how trapped he felt in the life he now hated, and how badly he wanted a new future, especially for his son. Travis pulled a wrinkled photo from his pocket, a boy of about 10, smiling. "He deserves better. I just don't know how to change." Malik listened, silent and patient. When Travis finished, Malik put a hand on his shoulder. "Everyone deserves a second chance," he said. "If you're ready to change, I'll help you." From that day, Malik and Travis began working together. Travis reached out to old gang members, convincing them to leave the life behind and come to the community center. They helped fix bikes for kids, joined renovation efforts, and spoke to teens about the dangers of violence. It was a slow shift, but a real one. Over time, the city began to feel the change. Young people who once leaned toward gang life found purpose and guidance at the center. Former gang members became mentors, and the Iron Claws gang was officially disbanded, replaced by a group focused on serving the community. The video that once showcased one boy's bravery became the launchpad for a movement. Journalists and filmmakers came to learn more, curious how one teenager sparked so much change. One afternoon, Malik was organizing a youth soccer tournament at the center when he was called up to the makeshift stage. Travis, Ruby, and Mr. Henderson stood proudly, smiling. "You've started something none of us thought possible," said Mr. Henderson. "You've shown that real courage and leadership from within, and for that, we want to honor you." They handed Malik a plaque with his name and the words, "Leader of Hope." Malik was touched, but instead of a big speech, he just smiled and said, "This isn't about me, it's about all of us. It's about what we can do together." That night, walking through the neighborhood, Malik noticed the changed streets. Once feared, now echoed with kids laughing, families chatting, and hope in the air. He knew the work wasn't finished, but he also knew he'd lit a spark thought would keep burning. Now we ask you, do you believe small actions can lead to big change? Let us know in the comments what you thought of this story, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful, uplifting stories. Together, we can keep spreading courage and hope. See you in the next video.